arrived for the first time to Israel. He is with us, he is with our leader, and he is fighting everywhere and meeting many people, lots of important people. He's trying, he's trying his best to help to free our leader. So I represent to you Shaul Meisel.
Thank you, Rachel. I've met Mr. Kanu several times here in Israel. I interview him also in the radio and TV. And I met a wonderful person, kind, clear, honest, a real leader of the Jewry of Biafra. And I beg the ambassador of the British Embassy, please let Nnamdi Kanu go free from jail, from persecution, and take care of him. I know that his situation there is very dangerous for his life. He is sick, he needs pills, he doesn't get it, even the food. We would like to beg and to ask. We would like to beg and ask. Please free him and give liberty, give freedom to all the Biafra Jewry.
Hello, good morning, class. You are new to the channel. Kindly like, share, subscribe, and please do not forget to hit the notification bell. Mr. Chinedu Michael, I understand that, of course, the Israel are brothers to the Igbos, by extension to their France. But we understand that Nnamdi Kanu currently is going through travail. But seeing Israelites rallying, protesting, asking Nigerian government to release Nnamdi Kanu, asking British government to step in and ensure that their brother is released. How does it come to you?
No, it didn't come to me as a surprise anyway, because I noticed at the last 30th May Biafran Day, I will see a lot that happened in Israel. I saw Israelis, both men and women. In fact, we saw the entire Jews, mounting, celebrating the Biafran Day, celebrating the birth of the first Jewish African state. For me, for the Israelis, for the Jews of Israel to join, to even remember that day, it tells a lot of story of the supposed alliance or the supposed synergy or the bloodline. Let me put it that way, between the Biafrans, the Igbos, of course, and of course the Jewish state. And I can see over time, I've seen aides of the Prime Minister of Israel making different statements referencing Biafra recognition, talking about Nnamdi Kanu. And a lot of people does not know the reason why Nnamdi Kanu is always being welcome within Jerusalem and of course the Western world. There's a lot of things that's attached to that, and we have built a relationship to the extent that the Israeli government themselves officially has recognized Biafra, of course the Igbos, as one of the lost tribes of Israel. We have the other ones from Massa, Uganda. We have another one too from, of course, Ethiopia. We know the history, as the only nation that was not colonized. But what we are saying at this point in time, that it has become a reality where we are seeing so many different lobbyists from different parts of the world, different countries, different nations, factoring the liberation of Biafra, talking about another African consciousness called Nnamdi Kanu, talking about Ibrahim Traore, talking about Nelson Mandela, but a lot of people are surprised that the Biafran recognition agenda, and of course that has been identified on several bases, even though it was being reported some time ago that the Israeli government under Benjamin Netanyahu has gone as far as signing a Biafran charter. So these are some of the things we want to see. And of course, the Israeli embassy, located in Biafra land, is also a factor of trust. It's also a factor of patriotism. It's also a factor of brotherhood and bloodline and recognition of an entity or a brother that can never hurt you to the extent of hurting Israel. And secondly, there is need for us, at this point in time, to continue to build synergy with the Israeli people and the Israeli government, because what we are seeing now, in just no distant time, Israel will become a super world power that America will not be able to look at and point their hands towards them, even though we know that they have a more deeper relationship in that regard. But we are seeing Israel as a nation becoming independently in terms of weapon, in terms of military production, in terms of economy, in terms of economic activities, in terms of treaty, Tanzania alone as one of the powerful nations in the world. Even though we still can give it to Israel at this point in time, they are still one of the powerful nations in the world. So what you're seeing every time and now, there's this bloodline, there's this connection that anything that happens to Biafra, anything about Nnamdi Kanu, they try to get the British attention to it, and of course signal their support for Nnamdi Kanu at any point in time.
I've seen a video, Mr. Michael, where Nnamdi Kanu was explaining to some Israelites that he chose to come to Israel instead of UK after the Operation Python dance that saw him run away from Nigeria. He said because he feels safer in the midst of the Israel who are his brothers.
Of course, Nnamdi Kanu has made it very clearly. He has brought the Zionist ideology to the Biafran agenda. He has also brought the lineage of religion of the Jewish people, the Orthodox Jews in Israel, in terms of the way and manner they worship. Nnamdi Kanu, is a Judaist. He believes in that concept of religion of Judaism. And Judaism is where almost all the world leaders, there's no world leader and there's not part of that group or forum, and so Nnamdi Kanu is a member of, he's a Judaist, he practices Judaism, and of course he told them that he worshipped here in Israel. Of course, that's what I'm saying. So, if you look at Nnamdi Kanu at every point in time, both the way he dresses and everything, he signifies that he is a Jewish man and that he's proud to be a Jew, and every point in time we are seeing the Biafrans, taking up solidarity, support for the plight of injustice meted against the Biafrans, against the Igbos, the extreme marginalization, and thereafter, you always see Israeli flag. If you go to Henri, let me put it that way, there is, an anchor of David in Eri Kingdom till tomorrow, till today. If you still go there, you see it.
Now let me go ask this question. What informed and influenced the Star of David on the on the flag of Biafra?
No, the fact is that, that is the source, that is where we are coming from, and it has been proven over the years that is where we are coming from, and that is what we are. If it is not where we are coming from, how come the ancient people that were able, to relocate, to migrate from Middle East or Africa at that time? But remember, where you are calling Middle East, that now, what was it called before? Where we are calling Middle East now, what was it called before? Go and find out yourself what it was called before, and know actually who are the ancient black Hebrews. Then that will give you a signal that if those people did not come from that, there's no need. Ancient people, 7,000 BCE, they are still maintaining their source without anybody telling them. So it tells you that that is their source. And that is where they come from. I don't think there's any tribe in Africa. Yes, I can tell you, because when I visited Nri, in the kingdom, I discovered it, and I asked questions. Find out whether there is any tribe, black tribe in Africa, where you go to a particular location and you discover similarities of the ancient Jewish kingdom.
Maybe I should even ask you this question. The Obi of Owa, that is the community where Okowa comes from, said recently that his kingship, his people migrated from Ori in Anambra State.
Okay, that is it. You see, it's unfortunate that we find ourselves in this construction of wickedness by the British government, to make sure that anything that has to do with Africa is fragmented. Look at Macron now threatening the whole of Africa because of Nnamdi Kanu. Now they will not allow Africa to even have a military, a force. That will not happen under the Western watch. So what does that tell you? It tells you a lot of things, that these people sat somewhere in Berlin and shared Africa. So it tells a lot of things was balkanized, a lot of things was destroyed, a lot of stories was killed, a lot of genealogy, so many things that could have defined the identity of the people. We are virtually destroyed by the version of the British colonial masters at that time. And it tells you that, when I said it very clearly before, that Igala is an offshoot of Idu that gave birth to Godomigodo is from the same thing. But they will not tell you that the Bini is just a minor tribe, just like Ibanke in the entire Edo state. That the Asian people too are questionable. Then if you look at that Idu, as at that time, before it become Igodomigodo, from Igodomigodo it become the so-called Edo state we are talking about today, or whatever we are talking about today. God, look at the tribes that make up the Benin tribe. Who are they? Ask questions, you still discover the truth. So the man from Okowa's local government, who is saying that the king, the Obi of Owa, who is saying that they came from a kingdom, and he's just being very honest to himself. So that's the picture. That's what it is. And these histories have been there. Okay, now let me ask you, how come the Portuguese, the first explorers that set their foot on this part of the world, when there was no West Africa, East Africa, North Africa, bros, even Middle East, I said it before, and go and cross check, this Middle East there I'm talking about today, what was the name of that Middle East before it was called Middle East? You can go and find that yourself. So what I'm saying at this point is that it came to that point where the Portuguese themselves said, do you know where the boundary of Biafra? It was them that named Biafra, that brought that Biafra name to popularity. It was the Portuguese, not the British. And that was why I was saying at every point in time, then where did they get the name? So look at what they drafted as the Bight of Biafra in the old ancient Eastern province. That's what they call it. And what they wrote about the people they met here. So you can see the hand of the Britain in making sure that Africa never come together, African consciousness never come together. Everything that has to do with Africanism, especially the Igbo people, are being subjected simply because the Igbo people champion African independence, and they see it as a threat to them. That was the only offense.
I was saying that there's a video where you can clearly see an Israeli lamenting and blaming Britain for joining different ethnicities together.
Of course, it's real.
So it means the consciousness has gone to that level.
Yes, of course, that's what it is, and it's spreading. You know, because people are coming back to begin to dig the truth now, especially given what is happening in Burkina Faso now. So that consciousness is spreading. Africa is beginning to regain that consciousness, and you see most of those things, and that's just like what the Bible said, that through one man salvation came to the world, and through one man sin came to the world. I said through one man salvation and consciousness must come to Africa for Africans to arise. There's no how, you know, if Africa rise to all these people will begin to, you know, ask us bring the burden of IMF, World Bank and all that, and they will not allow us to have an independent thinking of our own. And that's what people are saying. How come, you know, China is not speaking English? How come Japan is not speaking English? How come so many countries are not speaking English? What is wrong with Africa? Why must Africa not be Africa? And that is what Nnamdi Kanu is talking about. And that is the same line the Jewish people are trying to make sure that they protect their generation, they protect who they are, and they protect their identity.
I must say very big thank you. I must let you go at this point. Thank you very much.